Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, Maseches BECHOROS Daf Mem Aleph. We begin at the Mishnah, which is around 10-12 lines off the top of the Amud. Here come more examples of blemishes that don't really qualify as real blemishes, which allow the Bechor to be shechted, anywhere. It's an imperfection, so to speak, which takes away from the wholeness, the completeness, the tamim aspect of the animal, in which case it's unsuitable for processing as a korban in the Mikdash, but nonetheless, it doesn't qualify as a proper blemish to be shechted anywhere. It's in limbo. Nishtahi, nishtaher. That's the Mishnah. The following conditions will result in an interesting situation where you can't shecht due to these conditions. Loy b'mikdash, loy b'medina. Not on the Beis HaMikdash because it's lacking in completeness and wholeness. It's not, it's imperfect. But loy b'medina, nor can you shecht it, anywhere else. It's in limbo until a proper, real mum surfaces which would allow you to shecht it anywhere. Okay, so here's a list. Chavarvar, these are the flecks in the eye, v'amayim, shein kvuim. So his eyes are tearing, but these don't seem to be permanent, constant conditions. They come and they go. V'chutan apnimiyos, the inner gums, shenifkamu, which were injured, which were avla, they weren't totally missing. So they're notched, they're injured, they're missed, but they're not totally gone. So it's imperfect, but it's not a qualifying mum. It's not clearly, visible from the outside of the animal. Ubal garav, ubal yabeles, ubal chazazis. Garav is some sort of growth. Boil, a pimple, by yabeles, ubal chazazis, different types of growths and pimples and boils, as we're going to see in the Gemara. Zaken. The animal's past a certain age where it's already quivering due to old age. V'choyle, likewise, is ill, exhibiting signs of illness and weakness. Umezuham, foul smelling. V'shenevde by avera, a person interacted physically improperly with the animal. V'shehemes adam, or the animal killed a person. Al piyei dechad al bailam. This information was brought forth by the owner himself, who conceded that his animal was involved in this, or an eidechad, a single witness, because if it was two witnesses, then the animal would be put to death, and it would not be relevant. So we're speaking that we know the facts, but it doesn't justify killing the animal. The tumtum ba'adreikinus. Tumtum, his gender signs are covered over, concealed, in which case hard to identify, hard to classify the gender of the bechor, which must be a zachar, by the way, right? To be kaddish. Androgynous, or he has both gender signs. Loy b'mikdash, loy b'medina. You don't shecht either in the Mikdash or the Medina. So Tanakama holds that tumtum b'androgynous is in no man's land. Why? Rashi explains because it's a suffix. He has these conflicting or unknown gender designations, in which case is a suffix. Is he a zocher? Is he in a keva? So you can't shecht him anywhere. Because maybe he's in a keva, doesn't qualify as a bechor for the Mikdash. Maybe he is a zocher, so you can't shecht him anywhere outside the Mikdash. Rabbi Shmuel Eimer, there's a Giz Rabbi Shmuel Eimer, he says, Anadreganus, you can't get a bigger blemish than that. Ein lecha mum gadol mizeh. Rashi explains because the nakvas, the female sign, is a mum. It's a cut in the skin, and certainly you treat him as a baal mum and you can shecht him any way you want. They take a third approach to the androgynous. Androgynous, he's not just a suffix. He's not a zachar with a mum, as per Rabbi Shmuel Shita. No, he's a a new class on his own, a new type, a new entity. He's not a bechor. You can share his wool, you can work with him. Rashi says, Bria b'fnei atzmai. Is a new class of gender. Okay, so we have three shittas on the androgynous. Tanakama says we don't know what he is. Reb Shmuel says we know that he's a zachar, but comes along with a blemish due to the nakvus feature that he has. Chacham say a brand new entity. Okay, let's go back first to the Gorav, to the other cases, and then we'll closely analyze this discussion about the Tumtum androgynous. The Gorav loy, so Gorav does not qualify as a proper mum. Except Gorav by rice, it's in the pasuk, listed amongst the mumen. How could you say this growth, this wart, is not an issue, is not a mum? Likewise, likewise chazazis is not considered a proper mum. Except yalefes by rice, the Torah lists yalefes amongst the mumen, and as we're going to see in a second, yalefes and chazazis are one and the same condition. Vatani, we have a brisa. Gorav is a cheres, a dry type of shchin, like dry clay, right? It's like hard and dry. Yalefes has another name, zu chazazis hamitzris. Okay, so yalefes and chazazis go hand in hand, and yalefes is clearly labeled as a mum in the Torah. V'amr shlagish lama nikra shma yalefes. Why is chazazis sometimes referred to as yalefes in terms of its function? Shemalafefes v'aleches, it enwraps the person and stays with him permanently. You can't heal it; doesn't go ad yom until he dies. Okay, so it's a double kasha. The Mishnah does not consider Gorav and Chazazis, which is really Alefes, as proper mumen, whereas the pasuk seems to count them in as proper mumen. Bishlem Chazazis. Achazaz lekasha. We can answer the question on the chazazis. There are two types, two variations. One is more serious, one less. Kan b'chazazis hamitzris. The pasuk is speaking about a chazazis hamitzris, a more severe form, which is permanently blemished. Kan b'chazazis da'ama. Amish is talking about a lighter form, which is not considered a proper permanent blemish. Ela gorav agorav kasha. But what about the stira between gorav and the Mishnah, which is not a mum, and the gorav of the pasuk, which is a mum? Once again, different strains of this Gorav. Some are mum, some not. Some could be healed, some are permanent conditions. Gorav, Gorav, namilakash. That too can be answered like this. Habalach, habiyavish. Depends if it's moist or dry. Lach itasi. Lach can be healed. Yavish lamitasi. Once it's dried up, it just stays there permanently. It's not going to heal. Ask the Gemara. But lach mitasi. It has moisture. It's going to heal. V'ksiva, a pasuk by the Teichacha. Hashem says, Hashem warns. Hashem b'shchin mitzrayim. Hashem will strike with shchin mitzrayim, and the pasuk continues. Uba gorav, okay, uba gorav. BECHOROS, and choros apparently is the cheres, the dry one. Asher lo tuchal rafe, which has no remedy. Now, uba BECHOROS, once the pasuk mentions uba cheres, which is the dry variety, hari gorav lach amor. So apparently gorav, the word before cheres, describing a different condition, is the lach, is the moist one, right? Cheres is the dry, and gorav is a lach. And what does the pasuk say about it? There's no way to heal it. You're telling me that moist can be healed? You're right, there are three variations of the gorav. El tlosav, as follows. Dekra yavesh mein mibifnim beim bechutz. The gorav mentioned by the blemishes, that's an absolute permanent condition. That's when it's dry inside and out. No remedy there. The maslis, on the other side of the spectrum, we have the Mishnah Bayas, which does not count it as a mum. Lach b'chutz b'fnim. It's moist on the outside and inside. It could be healed. There's hope. The Mitzrayim, the third example of Gorav, discussed by the Teichacha, the one in Mitzrayim, has an element of dryness as well. Yavesh b'fnim, dry from the inside, which preempts any remediation, v'lach machutz, and moist from the outside. T'chsiv, and we find that it corresponds with the way the Torah describes the shchin in Mitzrayim back in Bnei Yisrael's time. But here shchin a boys like flowing. It's like moist pareach ba'adam growing in the Mitzrayim. Okay, so bottom line, different types of gerav. The dry ones cannot be healed, but otherwise they could. V'azaken v'achayla v'mizor. These three are also disqualified. They're not absolute mumen, but not fit for hakrava. How do we know? Tanarabana min hatzoy, min is an exception, only from the tzoy, min hakvasa, min ha'isa. So all these mins are excluding certain elements. Prat l'zakin, we exclude the older animal, v'lachayla, the ill mezuam, and the foul smelling. And there's a reason why the pasuk has to relate to all three, rather than learning one from the other. Each one has a unique element, unfound in the other. The Torah only ruled out the older one, because that condition is not going to correct itself. It's a permanent condition. But an ill animal, which can correct itself, perhaps that's not so severe. Because on the other hand, Torah only ruled out the chayla, that's not regular to get sick, so he's disqualified. But the older one is just a matter of age. It's the norm. Perhaps nothing wrong with him. Because parshanut-torah-comment. And if the Torah only ruled out two items, so these would be excluded, the chishi, because they have weaknesses that come along with their condition. Chayla, zaken, aval mazuam, but the foul-smelling animal, he has no physical weakness to him. Like kachish, perhaps that's not an issue. Vinami, on the other hand, we can say what is zuam. Had the Torah only ruled out the foul-smelling one, mishum l'mois, because it's ugly, it's disgusting. Aval hanid l'misi, the other ones don't have that element. Perhaps they're okay. Tzrichi. Hence, we need three exceptions relating to these three conditions, each one on its own. An animal which was involved in that Avera is also out of luck. How do we know? Min from behema, not all, excluding the reveya who initiated interaction with a woman, v'nirva interacted by a man. Min habakar, what's that coming to exclude? It's hanevad, as opposed to an animal which was worshipped. Min hatzoin, that's coming lohitzes hamuksa, animal which was designated for other worship. The extra of the of min hatzoin, to exclude an animal which gored, which killed a person. How do you make Tolaninu, asked the Gemara? Well, if these animals were involved in these inappropriate deeds, they're condemned lemisa, they're not around anyways. There were no two witnesses to condemn them, rather it was just one witness, or the owner conceded. In which case, on the one hand, they're not going to be killed. On the other hand, we believe it enough to disqualify from hakrav. Okay, now the Mishnah ruled out the tumtum and androgynous. Why? Bishleim a tumtum b'migdash lo. I understand why you can't take a bechor of a tumtum and process him in the Beis HaMikdash, because maybe he's a dilma nekeva, maybe he's a female. In which case he has no kedushas bechor, which is limited to male. B'medina lo, on the other hand, you can't shecht him in the backyard. Dilma zacharu. It's an unknown, right? Maybe he's a zachar, in which case he belongs in the Mikdash. It's a male without a blemish, less beimuma. Okay, that explains the tumtum. Why the tumtum is in limbo. El androgynous, what's wrong with the androgynous? Bishlam Mikdash loy. Certainly you can't process him in the Beis HaMikdash as a carbon, the nekeva, because maybe he has the status of a nekeva, in which case a bechor nekeva is not kaddish. Ela b'Medina. What's wrong with just shouting him outside, anywhere? Need the zachar. Let's consider the chance, the possibility that he's really a zachar. Okay, even so, neither zachar, but he has the nakvus, which should be considered a blemish. To split in the skin, it should be considered a blemish. So he's a blemished bechor. Okay, blemished bechor, a balmum, you're free to go. Neither zachar das and nakvus. The nakvus should be considered a charitz. The pasuk lists, charitz as one of the mumim, a scrape, an indentation in the skin. V'yishchat shecht on account of that mum. Amar Abaye, charitz is only something more serious in the bone, not just a split in the skin. Amar charitz is shavar. You see the Torah wraps together charitz and shavar. And shavar means a broken bone. Charitz as well is a split, a nick in the bone. Charitz is dumya compared to shavar. Ma shavar b'mokem etzim, just like shavar relates to the broken bone. Of charitz, likewise, charitz is a bone-related blemish mokem etzim, as opposed to nakvus, which is merely in the skin. It's more of a surface blemish. Rava Amar says, Rav, I'll give you another reason to discount this, this issue. Even without Abaye's linkage between charetz and shavar, even without that correlation, you cannot suggest that the charetz b'mokim basar havimuma, that a split, an indentation just in the flesh, just on the surface, qualifies as a mum, because the sakatayach havimum, if in fact it's really halachically regarded as a mumma. I have a question. Kivin the Amar. Mar. Let's recall. A minute ago we said Garav, that's one of the mumen in the Torah, is really cheres. That's the dried up, wart, which inevitably has a recession beneath it in the skin. Zeo cheres. So it must be michratz charetz, that there's a charetz beneath it. Why? The chsiva mar'eu omek min ha'or. Rashi explains that one of the forms of negoim is shchin. So if this is a shchin, it's indented, as per the way the Torah describes a neged. The chsiva mar'eu omek min ha'or. It looks deeper than the skin around it. Kemari chama mukim natzeo, like sun, which appears deeper, recessed, versus the shade around it. So once we know that the garav / cheres has a recession, why even mention it in the Torah? Once you know charetz, why mention charetz, which is a plain recession, and also garav, which is worse off? It's a boil, which also has a recession. Let the Torah suffice with just charetz on the list of mumin. So now we know a blemish in the skin is a problem. Garav, without mentioning garav, it's unneeded. But I'll figure it out myself. Charetz, leimois have a mum of charetz, which doesn't have any repulsiveness to it. It's just a split in the skin. Is a mum certainly garav de mois, garav which is also ugly. It's a boil, it's a wart, lekoshkin. Of course it's a problem. Of course it's a mum. So why then did the Torah mention garav? Kosav rachman garav. You know why the Torah writes garav? Lemember to tell us that the charetz b'mokem basar have a mumma. No, a recession within just the flesh, just the surface indentation is not a mum. Okay, that's why it necessitated adding garav to the list. I wouldn't know garav. Just because it's recessed, that's not an issue. If not for the fact that it's also garav, a boil. Okay, so bottom line, the question was androgynous. Why is the nakvas not considered a mum? Why should it be? Is it charetz? So the Abaye charetz has to be bone related, based on the correlation between charetz and shavar. And likewise, Rav agrees from a different angle. So this is only Tanakama. Androgynous is just an uncertainty, it's a suffix, but it doesn't have a mum. Rabbi Shmuel says, what do you mean? Even if he's a zachar, but he's a bal mum. Because the nakvas feature presents a blemish. Apparently, he's disagreeing with Abaye and Rava, who don't consider it to be a blemish. Kabai lo amar. So he didn't agree with Abaye's linkage. Charetz, the shavar lamri. You don't compare charetz to shavar. Shavar is in the bone. Charetz can be in the skin. It qualifies as a mum. Karava nami lo amar. Likewise, he didn't go with Rava's approach. Dil mahechad lo minkra. Yeah, maybe an indentation in the recession of the skin, which is not so visible, that's not considered a mum. Avalechad minkar, if it's totally exposed and visible, like the nakvus of the behema, it's all minkar, says Rashi. Mumra karinim, of course it qualifies as a mumra, hence it's considered a balmum. We turn to my place. So Bishmol is responding to the Tanakama, who says that androgynous is perpetual state of uncertainty. He says no, it has a mum. Now, is he agreeing that it's really a suffix, just even if it's a zachar, it's a balmum? So at best it's a zachar with a mum, in which case you can shech them anywhere, or perhaps he's disagreeing in principle. Androgynous is not a suffix. He's considered a male, just a male with a mum. Could be shechted anyway. Bayram. Here comes Rabbi Shail. My time to Rishmal. What's Rishmal's position on this androgynous? Mifshat pshitali androgynous b'charu. Umuma imay. Is it clear to him that androgynous has the status of a b'char, meaning he's a male, on account of his male presentation? But umuma imay comes along with a mum, as we explained. The nakvas presents a mum, a duma, or sefukim misabkali. Rishmal also had that same suffix. He has conflicting gender signs, so we're not sure. V'im timtza le'mekama. He was simply adding another dimension. Even if you assume that he's a zachar, don't worry, he's a mum. Im timtza le'mekama, even if he's a bachar, he comes with a mum. Now, what's the difference? Either way, Rabbi Shmuel allows you to shecht it. Says, what's the point of asking the question? Big enough kamina. Two things. Suppose a fellow shares the wool off this androgynous, or he works with him, which is forbidden. If in fact it's a true bechor, right? Even a bechor bal mum, right? You're not meant to share or work with it. So it depends. If Rabbi Shmuel considers him a bechor with a mum, so there's malchus. He gets lashes for doing this. But otherwise, if he agrees that we don't really know what he is, then you can't give him malchus. Because maybe he's in a cave, he's not a bechor. Another difference. Who does it go to? Does the kohen get it or not? The mitzvah of the kohen. Should I give it to the kohen? If it's a bechor with a mum, it goes to the kohen. But if it's a suffix, then Yisrael keeps it. Right? As per the general formula, when you try to extract money, you got to prove your case. Which the kohen can't. Tashma, he comes a riot to this question. He is a bechor. He's a zachar with a mum. Shmah mino. Okay, so now we have clarity. Mivshad pshitalei, that it's clear to him that in fact he's a zachar with a mum, rather than a suffix. No, maybe he wasn't really sure. He was just on account. Even if he's a bechor zachar, he has a mum, but maybe really he has a suffix. Tashma, he comes in another raya. Pasuk by the Oila. Tashma, zachar has to be a male. V'lo nekeva as opposed to a nekeva. K'shoim lamata. So further down the psukim we have again zachar. Shein tamalem. What's the point of mentioning it again? Matamalem. To exclude the tum madreginus. Now, who is speaking in this brayso? Mani ilam tanakama is a tanakama who says androgynous is a perpetual uncertainty. Sveika was a suffix. V'asikra lumute sveika. Does a pasuk then have to come and rule out a suffix? Hashem knows who he is. Is he a zachar? We don't know. So of course we always go to chumrah. Like in any matters of Torah, we have a suffix. We go to chumrah. We're not going to use him as a curb. We don't need the pasuk to tell us that. Ela rabbanon basra. Okay, another option. The opinion in this brayso reflects the rabbanon basra. It means the third shita that we had in the Mishnah. That the androgynous is a bria b'fnei atzma. It's its own entity, and therefore unqualified to be brought as an oila. Well then, yeah, it's true. The end result is true, but the sourcing is probably. Why do we need two psukim? Mechat kornafki. They can learn that of one pasuk. Zachar means no nekeva, no tumtum, no androgynous. Why do we need two separate psukim? The hogabe b'chor chad zachru d'chsiv v'kom mati kulu minayu. The same happened by bechor. There's only one pasuk which says it has to be a zachar, and automatically we know zachar means zachar as opposed to everything else. We don't need a new pasuk to exclude this and that and the other thing. Elapshita rishmoili. The only available option is to pin this price on Rishmoil's shita, and that will explain why we need two psuk to rule out the nekeva, and then another pasuk to rule out the tumtum adreginus. Because so now let's go back to our question. If Rabbi Shmuel was clear to him that really androgynous is a zachar with a mum, that explains why we need a special pasuk. That by the oila it has no kedusha. So by the bechor it's considered a zachar with a mum, but by the oila there's a new pasuk to say Rabbi Yisrael it's not going to be kaddish at all, unless it's a pure zachar. That explains why we need extra pasuk. Eli amras mesapka lei. But if truthfully Rabbi Shmuel wasn't sure about the status of an androgynous, is he this? Is he that? So back to the old question: why do we need a pasuk to exclude him? Isra krol mutis feka. Since when does the pasuk have to come and rule out uncertainties? If you don't know, you keep away. So perhaps we can conclude based on this whole calculation, according to Bishmoel, androgynous is a zachar with a mum. No, lo'ilam rabbanon basroi. No, perhaps the brayso here is expressing the third sheet in the Mishnah, the rabbanon. not Rabbi Shmuel, in which case we have no clarity on Rabbi Shmuel's position on this matter. As to your question, why do we need two separate psukim? Well, guess what? Bechor as well. Bechor nami. Trei kroiksiv. Bechor as well, we have two psukim. To exclude all these entities. We have hazachar, okay, to exclude the nekeva. Now we have again v'hazacharim to exclude the tumtum androgynous. So the same by the oila. We wouldn't know to exclude all these entities if not for a separate pasuk. Okay. We'll leave the rest for tomorrow. B'ezras Hashem. Let's just recap today's daf. Discussed semi-blemishes, which disqualify from Hakrav in the Mikdash because of its imperfection, but it doesn't qualify as a proper room to shecht it, anywhere. We had a whole long list of examples. We had some kashas from the pasuk. We resolved, explained different variations of these conditions. Some qualify as mum, some don't. We added zak and chayla mezuam, nevda by avera. Then we started discussion regarding the androgynous, which had three opinions in the Mishnah. Tanakama says safek. Rabbi Shmuel says there's a mum. Tanakama disagreed. It's not a mum unless it's a more serious type of blemish. And lastly, we have the Chachamim, which say, well, it's a new entity. It's a bria chadasha, bria fnei atzma, this androgynous. And certainly, it doesn't qualify as a bechor. It's not a zachar. It's not even a nekeva. It's something else. Actually, we weren't really sure about Rabbi Shmuel's position. He says it has a mum, but is it because it's a zachar with a mum, or perhaps he agrees that it's a suffix to begin with. But even if it's a zachar, it has a mum, in which case you're free to shecht it anywhere on account of that mum. We left it a bit unresolved. And tomorrow, B'ezras Hashem, we're going to dwell on the other unique breed, which is the tumtum discussed in the Mishnah. All the best to you and atzlacha.